Hello everyone, Mochismo Eugene. Welcome to another video from Exit Strategy. Please like, subscribe, share the video, give a thumbs up if you found it helpful, and pass it on if you believe someone else will benefit from it. I would appreciate that. Sorry guys, I'm at an angle, downward angle. Just bear with me. I'm sure the audio should be fine though. The narcissist can't leave well enough alone. Well enough is not well. Actually, well enough is bad. Anytime there's harmony, anytime there is agreement, anytime there is jubilant interactions, this is counterproductive to a narcissist's psyche. It's hard to imagine that a person needs to be miserable in order to be content, because we are not like that. Our nature within, our heartbeat within does not allow us to sit well with that type of behavior. Even though we've done some things in our past and most recent past, even that we are embarrassed about, ashamed about, we did it out of a knee jerk, out of a reaction to what someone did to us. But a narcissist doesn't need anyone to do anything to them. The damage was done when you met them. And what happened because of that, they can't figure out where it happened, when it happened, and why it happened. But they know it happened. And because it happened, and they're so conflicted with this inside of them, they have to go on in life to survive through doing these type of things and behaving this type of way. This is the only way it will make sense to you. And if you continually try to dismiss it, thinking that, okay, they had a rough upbringing, okay, they lost their mom, they lost their dad. If you keep making explanations or excuses for them, that's an explanation as to why we all have become what we've become. We are a product of our environment to some degree. But there's also something additional that doesn't withstand our environment. It is our spiritual nature that was put in us by God. It is a conviction, something that you can't see, but you can experience it from within. Something just does not sit right with the conscience of a person with a heart that's appropriately fixed on doing well in life. And you're willing to do whatever it takes within yourself. You are not willing to hurt other people to get ahead. And this is kind of what a narcissist does on a daily. They think in hurting you and breaking you down, it in essence elevates them, whether it's mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually, if there is a spiritual part to them. And I think it is. It's a dark spirit. It's a dark spiritual path. So they have to continue to live this way in order to adapt to the environment around them. Because while you're doing and living your best life, or the life as best you can, they are so busy watching what you're doing till they can't even figure out, how can I start with trying to create a life for myself? They're always cutting and pasting. They're always stealing and sabotaging and hijacking other people's persona, their ideas, their friend circle, their friends' wives, husbands, uncles, aunts. They are just fixated on other people more so than they are themselves. It's like a race in life. We're all in a race to life to finish it in a good way. But what they're doing is, you're in this race. In the race of life, I don't think it's a competition, but in their mind it is. But the sad part is, the competition in their mind is they are ahead of you in many respects, because an empath always ends up at the bottom of the pile, but you're resilient. If you look back at your life, you always were last man out, last woman out. And so in this race, they are ahead of you and you're behind. And metaphorically speaking, analogy. But the reason why they can't finish the race in a good way, because they're busy looking back at you. And they are ahead in many ways. And you know the reason why they're looking back? Because you're not bothered, because you're behind. The position that you have in this race, you're okay and content with it, but you're steadily pushing forward. They're running their lungs out of their body to impress. They are running a mile a minute, a mile a second. They are doing too much. And because they're overcompensating instead of pacing themselves in life, something doesn't sit well. They're ahead of the pack, but they don't know where the finish line's at. So they're looking back at you because they need directions. They need to know the next move. And this is just an over round around. They are on a loop anyway. And even being on that loop, they need you to help them figure it out from day to day. They need you to help them figure it out from minute to minute, to second. They'll come out of their ass with ideas that they have cut and paste from somebody else. And then you will question them and say, well, what about that part, this part, that part? They have no explanation. They have no answer to that bright idea that they came up with, because they are not creators of anything other than chaos. And they're recruited by Satan. They didn't even create the chaos. The only thing they know is the chaos is what calms them. The chaos is what makes them feel whole, because there's a hole inside of them. And if you think I'm lying, think back with the narcissist. Whenever something good happened in that relationship or in that circle, friend circle, you could see the narcissist. You look off and they were just so disgusted by the fact that there was something good happening. What a life to live, What a life to live. So I really just thought about this, and I said, narcissists can't leave well enough alone. I mean, in relationships, you probably had it going on. When you met them, you gained traction, seemingly. It was all an illusion. You think they were supportive. You were the only one doing all the work. In many ways, they sparked an energy in you because you were hopeful. And that energy they sparked in you, it gave you the unction, or it gave you the energy. It gave you the will and the wherewithal to just push. And so with the blinders on, you were going full force, full steam ahead, not realizing, because they were cheerleading you. They were not supporting you. They were cheerleading you and causing you to do double duty. That's why when they leave and it's all over and everything crumbles, there is an empty feeling inside of you. And you know what it is, because you have adopted a whole grown ass person. You have been doing all the work. And whatever they contributed to that relationship, you look back and say, man, they didn't contribute to that. I was constantly doubling down on the things that I was doing before I met them. I could have done this all by myself. And matter of fact, I was doing it all by myself. Because in that relationship, when things did gain traction, if you look back, you were always having to pump your brakes to go attend to a need for the narcissist. But in our mind, we thought it was just being supportive, This is what we do in relationships. And again, if you keep looking back, and you don't have to look far, you'll see that they were needy more than you were. They needed you more than you needed them. Matter of fact, even when you thought you needed them, it was an illusion that they presented to you. They present to you a sense of dependence. And that's why it becomes a codependency. Even when you call and reach out to them and you'll say, well, can you pick this and that up? You very well could do this yourself, but you're thinking, let me negate them this task because they're on that side of town. This way, that will save 30 minutes of my day and I can utilize my time in something else. And they're either 2 hours late bringing it, they forget to get it, and they have to go back out to get it. And all of this is on purpose because they don't have your business on their mind. And it also serves as an excuse. Oh, I forgot it. I'll go back and get it. No problem. And so you don't say, oh, okay, don't worry about it. Or you may, and they insist, no, I'll go back and get it. And they'll stay 2 hours longer for that trip. And this is because by design, they're going back out to meet up and link up and text and, monkey jump with new supplies. And so they're constantly doing things in that relationship that seem like they're supportive, but they're just, they're on your life support. You are what's keeping them alive. You are what's keeping them breathing. Their heartbeat. It's like a baby inside of a mother. For a time, they have to breathe off of the mother until their heart is strong enough to breathe, until their heart forms. This is really, really, really deep because these people are very fractured from an early onset, and there's nothing you can do to change that. And even at this state in their life, they may be young adults, older adults in their 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s. There is nothing you can do for them. You can pray for them, but you pray for them at a distance. And I emphasize, at a distance. Pray God's will be done in their life. And you leave it at that. That being said, bless.